In this video, we are going to cover how realtors get paid for what they do. Now, many people think that realtors get paid for hours that they work. Totally untrue. Most realtors only get paid when a house sells. So if they are representing the seller, they go through A through Z, and unless that house sells and closes escrow, they do not get paid 1 cent. They are not reimbursed for any dollar they spent on photography, drone photography, online advertising, print advertising, meeting inspectors at the property, showing the property, doing open houses, doing brokers tours, all those activities that a listing agent representing the seller does to help get that home sold. We don't get paid until that house sells. So we will work our butt off until that house gets sold. Otherwise, you don't owe us anything. Now, if we're representing the buyer in a transaction, we're going to meet with them initially, find out what they're looking for, put them in contact with our lender, help them get pre-approved for the loan, show them properties within the search criteria that they're looking for, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, 1-story, 2-story, where that property is located, certain school districts. We're going to email them properties. We are going to write up the contract for them, help coordinate with the inspections. We're going to do all these things. And again, we do not get paid until that buyer finds a home that they're looking for, and we're able to help them all the way through the process and get them through to close of escrow. So if you are working with a buyer's agent, just be aware of this, because if you end up going to an open house on a weekend and writing your offer with that agent that's at the open house, your buyer's agent has not gotten compensated for the time that they've spent showing you those properties. Now I want to talk about structurally how the compensation is for the realtor and who is paying for that compensation. In the traditional real estate model, the seller and the listing agent agree on a certain commission rate. Now for this example, we're going to say that the total commission is 6%. All commissions are negotiable, so you can negotiate with your listing agent for whatever commission you are going to pay. Now of that 6%, you're going to offer a portion of that in the traditional model to the buyer's broker. So let's just say for this example, the listing agent will keep 3 and the buyer's agent will get 3. So now of that 3%, each of those realtors is going to have a splitting arrangement with their broker. So they might just keep 2% and their broker keeps 1%. So the realtor on either side, representing the seller, representing the buyer, will get roughly 2% of the eventual purchase price of that home. And in the traditional model, where the seller is actually paying for their agent's commission and the buyer's agent's commission, it seems a little bit counterintuitive, because the seller is actually paying the buyer's broker to represent the buyer that is in an adversarial relationship to them, the seller. The way that the real estate industry is headed, and where I think it's going to be in the next few years, is buyers are going to have to start paying for their own representation directly rather than through the purchase price of the home. Right now, there's a lawsuit between the Department of Justice and the National Association of Realtors, and nobody knows what way this lawsuit's going to end up. But one thing that should come out of it is more transparency of how buyers agents get paid. Most of the time, like I said, in the traditional model, the buyer's agent is getting paid from the seller through their proceeds. In the future, it's maybe going to be more so where the buyer is actually paying for their own representation separately and maybe paying a little bit less for the house, because now the seller doesn't have to pay for the buyer's broker. This is, I think, going to be a win for the public, for buyers, and I think it's going to be good for the real estate industry as a whole, because things are more transparent and people know who's paying for their representation. So if there's any other real estate related topics that you would like to know more about, please leave those in the comment section below. I know that I've had clients that really want to know more about septic systems, so I plan on doing a video on how a septic system works and what is involved in a septic system inspection. So please leave me any other questions or topics that you would like to know more about, and I'll be sure to do a future video on those topics. Until next time, this is Rob the Realtor, signing off.